about a topic which is actually a highly requested video from social work students. At the same time, I think it could be useful for MSc psychology students as well as who are doing psychiatric nursing master degree. So I'm talking about psychosocial assessment. So I will tell you what are the different parameters to be covered when you are presenting a case in psychosocial domain. Okay, so we'll start with any case presentation would start with demographic details. So I put the serial number here and the aspect would be discussed here. And number one would be demographic details. So demographic details would be name change can be given. So I just put as name, then age, gender. As usual, we'll write all other aspects here. Okay, then importantly, education, occupation, then marital status. Okay, then area of living, type of family. Okay, all other points can be discussed here, and I always tell that, see, with psychosocial assessment, again demographic variables would be different, will be depending on the case you are selecting. For example, if you are taking a child, here parental history, parental note would be very important, like occupation or education of parents. Same way, if you are taking a married client, okay, spouse, education, spouse, occupation would be important there. Okay, so this is about demographic details. And come to the second details, what you need to assess or you need to include in the presentation would be illness details. Okay. So actually, illness detail is the most important part of case presentation, where you need to talk about history of present illness. History of present illness. Could be chief complaints or duration of illness, onset of illness, where you will be able to differentiate whether the patient or the client is in which phase, whether acute phase or chronic phase. Okay, so I will just list out what are the details to be covered in illness details. Duration. Okay, since how long, since when the client is suffering from the disorder or from the problem, right? And diagnosis, actually this part is very important, you need to remember here. Diagnosis, if it is not confirmed, you have to write there or you have to mention it to be diagnosed or it to be confirmed. Okay, and if you have a diagnosis like schizophrenia, in bracket you please mention that diagnosed by a psychiatrist. Okay, then even a registered psychiatrist. And for example, learning disability, intellectual disorder, MR, diagnosed by clinical psychologist. Okay, that has to be particularly mentioned related to diagnosis. Okay, so duration, then actually diagnosis should be first, then duration, then current phase of illness. Current phase of illness. Current phase of illness would be whether it is acute, depends on the onset. Okay, if there is a sudden onset of the symptom, that would be falling into acute phase, and if the client has been suffering from the disorder since a long time, would be called as chronic phase. Okay, so this is about illness details. Okay, so the third aspect would be impact of illness on individual. Okay, so what would be the impact on, how do you assess the impact of illness on individual in terms of self-care, whether the client is able to perform daily living activities, grooming. Okay, so all other aspects or the activities would come under self-care. And the second parameter would be communication, whether the client is able to communicate clearly and and there are actually have to go through the inventory. Okay, so what are the different things we need to see on communication, like clarity, okay, relevance of communication, etc. Okay, now the third aspect is IPR, interpersonal relationship, that speaks about the social functioning of an individual or the client, whether the client is able to establish good relationship with the family, with peer groups or with friends or colleagues, etc. That you need to assess through questioning or you need to assess through observation, or when we take a detailed history, of course you will be able to understand about the level of IPR or how the social functioning is taking place in a client. Okay, and the next is at workplace, or whether the client is regular to work or whether the client is interested to work. Okay, let's talk about the occupation history. At the same time, here if your client is a student, you can talk about the education or the educational aspect. attending classes or not. Okay, so how far he or she is able to cover the syllabus or concentrate on the class. And sometimes, very important, I would say, if you are counseling a client who is a school going child, sometimes even you have to talk about where the child is sitting in the class, because sometimes visual problems and all would be leading to some academic or learning disabilities or learning problems. Okay, sometimes we focus only on the interest, or we focus on only on emotional development of the child. Sometimes some biological factors or physical factors are also, of course, leading to some kind of learning disabilities or learning problems. Okay, so that we need to understand here. Okay, so that's about different things on impact of illness on individual. Now let's talk about the fourth one. So third aspect is over. Now I'm going to talk about the fourth aspect. Okay. So here, what is the impact of illness on family? So how do you assess what would be the impact of any mental illness or any psychosocial illness on family? Of course, that will burden. First, will be having an impact on financial status of the family. So we need to ask questions about any kind of financial problems or financial burden. Then family activities. Of course, there will be disruption of family activities. Yes, because so far they were functioning so well, including the relationship was good. Okay, so if anybody suffer from mental illness or anybody suffer from kind of actually speaking, any disturbance in the family, entire system or entire family system, sometimes it gets disturbed, right? So we need to assess any kind of disruption is happening on family. Okay, family activities. And then very important thing is even mental health of family members, especially the caretakers' mental health is also important, and including physical health. So we need to be particular about any physical problem, any health issues related to physical and mental well-being of family members. Okay, so we need to focus on physical and mental health of others in family. Especially I am talking about the caretaker here. Okay, caretakers' mental health. Okay, because there will be chances of burnout symptoms, could be sleeplessness or could be anxiety about the disease. If they are not really aware about, even a mild depression, if they don't have a positive attitude towards treating that particular diagnosis, that particular disease or disorder through psychotherapy or counseling, they definitely, the entire family members may have a misbelief about or misconception about psychiatric disorder that is actually existing till today, right? So that we need to focus on. Okay, burnout symptoms I have associated with the caretakers. Okay, the caretakers' mental health. So this is about impact of illness on family. Okay. In addition, we need to even see about any kind of legal or social welfare status. Okay, or any kind of social welfare activities which are available to the family, to the patient or to the client. Okay, at the same time, any kind of legal issues or legal problems are existing in the family. Okay, and it also covers the facilities or the resources. Are they available about the services? Are they available about the resources? Are they available about the treatment facilities, including counseling services, etc. So that also can be written here. So this is about the third and fourth aspect of psychosocial assessment. Okay, so now we look at the last three areas what we are covering under psychosocial assessment. Okay, the fifth area would be assessment of risk factors or protective factors. Okay, assessment of risk factors or protective factors. See, both are equally important for the psychosocial health of an individual, right? So what are risk factors here? When we are assessing risk factors or protective factors, we need to focus on both at individual level and community level. Okay. So what are the factors that would be mentioned in individual level? That would be illness. Okay. So how this illness is affecting the individual, right? And what is the personality? Because depends on the reaction to the disease or reaction to any kind of response from family or community would be depending on the personality of the individual, right? So that personality would have an impact on individual level or individual perception, right? Then relationship could be, that's what I told you in demographic details like marital status or the social network what the client is maintaining. All those things would definitely have an impact on the disease. Okay, and the support system. So support system could be lack of support system could could be a risk factor, whereas if there is a good caretaker in the family or good resources are available to the family, that could be a protective factor. Okay, so in each element, sometimes one or two can be both risk factor come protective factor. Okay, so this is about individual level. So let's go to the community level. So what is community level? What are the different aspects can be covered in a community level? Like educational services, if there is no educational services available to the client, lack of training, lack of awareness would be risk factors. If there is proper services available to the family or to the client, would be like government is providing free of cost counseling services, that could be a protective factor. Okay, and lack of awareness about it would be risk factor. Okay, then communication, mental health awareness, that's what I would do. Like mental health literacy is important for family. If they are not aware about mental illness or treatment of mental illness or counseling services, that could be a risk factor. Okay, then legal services. Similarly, if they are not aware about the legal services which are available, that could fall under which criteria? Yes, that could come under risk factor. Okay. Then employment facilities. Of course, if there is no employment, that would be a risk factor. And sometimes stress, occupational stress because of employment, that again comes under risk factors. Okay, so we need to assess it carefully so that we'll be able to differentiate or classify it. And last one, societal attitude. If people are supporting the client or they take it in a positive way, that would be a protective factor. If they are stigmatizing the client, okay, they show stigma or discrimination, that would come under risk factor. Okay, so that's about the fifth one, which is risk factor or protective factor assessment. Hope this is clear. Come to the next one. Sixth point is you are identifying the key findings. Okay, so what are the key findings on your case? Okay, key findings would be you can differentiate again good prognostic factors. Good prognostic factors are nothing but the factors which are promoting the recovery of the patient or which promotes the improvement in the illness. What are the good prognostic factors? Could be good support system, counseling services, psychoeducation. Okay, so all those treatment modalities what the family or the individual is adopting would be called as good prognostic factors. Or health. Okay, so exercise, okay, personal modification of personal habits or self-motivation, all those things would come under good prognostic factors. Vice versa. What are the bad prognostic factors? Could be lack of support system, lack of exercise or lack of interest. Sometimes as a therapist you are giving so many intervention to the client, but the client is not able to follow it up. Okay, so it depends on the interest of the client too. So all those things would come under bad prognostic factor. Okay, so come to the last one. Here, areas to be addressed. Seventh one is areas to be addressed. What is the key area where what you are going to assess in your client? What is the actual problem? Okay, or emotional health or physical health or lack of self-motivation or lack of training for the client or lack of counseling services, or though they are availing counseling services, family is not supporting the client. There are many factors. Once you take a detailed interview or detailed therapy session, you would be able to understand what is the main area to be addressed or to be highlighted. Okay, so that's about the seventh one. And come to the last one would be your plan of action. Okay, so when you are planning the intervention, when you are making an action plan, so don't focus only on patient or the client. Okay, plan of action would be individual. Number one would be what plan of action you are giving to the individual, and what plan of action you are planning for the family, and what is your plan of action for community. Okay, so here for individual like psychoeducation, counseling, exercise, health modification. Okay, so otherwise if you are counseling an adolescent girl who is suffering from anxiety, nervosa, or there are many like mild depression, you'll ask the girl or ask the client to undergo a detailed checkup, right? Sometimes even HB or vitamin deficiencies, right? So these all social work is not just pertaining to the mental health services. You need to have a comprehensive knowledge, at least to update yourself to suggest the client, okay, or avail different kind of services in social discipline. Okay, so that's about the individual. And what would be your plan of action for family? That's what, if family is not much aware about mental disorder and its treatment, mental health literacy, you have to plan your intervention in such a way that when the family members will develop a positive attitude towards treating the client who is struggling from mental disorders. And that, see, already you know that there is controversy, or they will have a misconception about availing counseling services actually. So we need to talk about positive aspect or positive impact of counseling on mental health. So that's about family. So involving the family members or caretakers in the intervention. Okay, that is about family. And what you are going to do for the community. Plan of action for communities, mental health campaigns, mental health awareness, okay, and you are including education to the community about same thing about mental health literacy, which cover entire aspect of psychosocial needs. Okay, so hope this is clear for everyone. So this is about psychosocial assessment. We have mentioned about 8 different dimensions how to present a case related to psychosocial study. Okay, hope this is clear for everyone. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.